So what exactly are the advantages of a guitar with a fixed bridge? Well, of course you get rock solid tuning stability, you get the attack and sustain that can only come from a guitar with a fixed bridge, and you can do drop tunings and heavy riffs without any trem interference. But what if you like trems? What if you like a Bigsby, or a vintage Fender, or a Floyd Rose? Well, you definitely need a few guitars, and you certainly couldn't do it on a guitar with a fixed bridge. But we're going to do it anyway. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. So I wasn't kidding. Today we're going to be installing a Trem system on my fixed bridge guitar, which is not something I thought would be possible and should be pretty interesting. So here's what we're dealing with. So this is the Virtual Jeff. Now the guys asked if I'd be interested to, test it out on my channel. And I was like, well, I've probably done 6 or 7 really high-end Trem systems, mostly installed on Strats, done some shootouts, talked about the advantages, disadvantages of all sorts of different systems. And they're like, I don't think you've probably tried anything like this before. So the whole deal with the Virtual Jeff is you can install it on any guitar. Doesn't matter if it's got a trem or not, so you can put one on a Telecaster, which is what we're doing today, or even a Strat if you don't like using the trem or you want more flexibility. This will do it. Even a 335 or any sort of fixed bridge Ibanez or ESP, doesn't matter. It'll go on pretty much any guitar. So what we're going to do today is install this and kind of go through just in real time and talk about the advantages, disadvantages of this system. Should be interesting. Here we go. All right, so let's not mess around, let's get this thing installed. Now, as you can see, there's a bracket on the back of my Sharp Valtelli. If you guys follow the channel, I absolutely fell in love with this guitar. And the thought of being able to use like a Floyd Rose without any of the negative sides of a Floyd Rose, that's pretty compelling. So here's kind of like a little bag that all your goodies come in. And obviously the main thing is the controller itself. So here's what it is. It's made out of aluminum. And yeah, it's just got, of course, your trem arm that can bend up or down, and then a little connector. And that's pretty much it. So once you have your bracket, you kind of like place it on there, and you can kind of slide it back and forth to kind of get the right spot on your guitar, just to make sure you have like the proper clearance and stuff, obviously depending on what model of guitar you're going to put it on. So that's it. You put the bracket on, you just hold it down. There's a second one, so you can actually use it on multiple guitars. You just peel off the back and kind of like, place it where you want it. And then you can slide the unit on, slide the unit off, and take it with you. And like I said, use it on multiple guitars. So that's kind of like, the whole unit. So what we're going to do is, I've already placed it, already put on the mount, because obviously I've been testing it. And that's it. So we're just going to slide it in, lock it in, and off to the races. Well, that's really all there is to it. Put your bracket on, slide the unit in, and you're ready to rock. Gotta say, super easy install. Now, once you've got it installed, you connect it to a foot switch. So here's what the switch looks like. And of course, we're gonna plug it in and power it up in a second and show you guys exactly what you can do. So as I mentioned, there is a cable that can go from here into the foot switch, but I'm gonna do the Bluetooth adapter. So all you do is you use a little patch cable, go from your unit, like so, plug it into the Bluetooth adapter, and then you can slide it into, there's a little strap bracket with a belt clip, so you could put it on your pocket, put it on your strap or whatever. So then it just kind of like hangs out behind. So that's the full system. Let's fire up the pedal and check out the tones. Now on the foot switch is where you select what kind of whammy you want. So you've got whammy A and whammy B, and you can see they light up differently. Now these are your semitones. So on whammy A, I've basically got a Bigsby setup. I can go a semitone up, a semitone down, and that's pretty much it. Now, if I wanted to go, 2 semitones up and 2 semitones down, I would just select it, or, as much as I want. But for the first, whammy A, I just want something subtle, so I think I'm just gonna go semitone. Now on whammy B, this is kind of like my Floyd Rose. It goes an octave up and an octave down. Now, obviously on a Floyd Rose, that's not super realistic, but we can get some really awesome effects. So even if you went 3 semitones up and, a full octave down, or even more, you can go 24 frets down. But I think I'm going to go 12 up and 12 down just for some like serious fun whammy action. Other than that, we'll explain the hold feature, the blend feature, the capo feature as we go along. But that's just basically, how you control it. You've got 2 different whammies. You can select how much up and how much down you want to go. And that's kind of it. So let's go ahead and test out the Bigsby. So that's just a little taste of that one semitone up, one semitone down setting. And I sort of think of it as a Bigsby because it's just so subtle. You can add just a little bit of flavor if you want to, to those chords. And if you want to, you could even bend up, right? Which again gives it a little bit of a different flavor from just bending down. But yeah, if I do like the most extreme bend on this setting, and I gotta say, even though I'm over Bluetooth, there's absolutely zero lag. Like, it's instantaneous. They've done a really good job with the integration on this, so it feels really real. And it's, kind of bizarre after you use it for like half an hour, you're like, oh wait, my strings aren't moving at all. Like, how come I haven't had to retune or anything like that? It's because your guitar strings are literally not moving, but it feels so real. It's just like they are. So anyway, that's setting A. Let's go to something a little bit more kind of extreme. Now on this setting, we've got the Virtual Jeff set to go down an octave and up an octave. Now obviously down an octave is more like a Floyd, up an octave is more like an effect. On a floating system, maybe you could go up a minor third or something like that, but not an octave, not without breaking strings. But here we can because our strings aren't moving. So anyway, yeah, definitely can do some more bombing. So I don't know if you guys remember like the Digitech whammy pedal. I had one for quite a few years, and you can do the same kind of thing, like up an octave kind of pulls, which can be kind of fun, not very subtle, but definitely a lot of fun to play with. Now, beyond being a really fun and functional trem system, the Virtual Jeff does like a bunch more. It's got a hold feature, which basically holds the pitch wherever your whammy bar is. So right now I've got it set to go down a full octave. So if I take that and go down a whole octave, hit hold, guess what? Well, now my whole guitar is an octave lower. Take hold off. And we're back to standard tuning. So I mean, that feature is super cool. And I can even set it to, let's say, 5 semitones down. If I hold my bar down, hit hold, well, now it's more like a baritone. And again, you're not retuning your guitar, it's in standard tuning, so it's gonna hold tuning really well, and suddenly you're playing like a baritone. Go back. So cool, and so, just creative ways that you can use it. Now, another really cool function is the blend button. This mixes your guitar with the whammy signal. So I've got the guitar an octave down. Now what I'm gonna do is hit blend. Now what we've got is like an octave pedal. Really responsive and really great tracking. And if I do this again and maybe go an octave up, hit my hold feature, so now my guitar's an octave up. Pretty crazy. And then hit the blend, now you'll have, an octave up. So there's so many different creative ideas. You can also really get like a chorusing effect too. So I'm gonna go back to bank A where I just have, the guitar going up and down a semitone. I'm gonna just barely, kind of depress the strings just so it's close to the pitch, and then I'm gonna hold it. So here we go. Then what I'm gonna do is blend it, and we should get like kind of a chorusing effect. And really it can be as deep and rich a chorus or as subtle as you want, just depending on where you hit the hold button and how far you move your trem. So I mean, you get an octave pedal, you get like a chorus pedal, you get like you know, a detuner, you know, to go into like octave lower or baritone tunings. There's a lot to it. So there's that chorusing effect, you know, with just some clean tones. So I'll take the hold off and I'll take the blend off. So we're basically back to our regular kind of whammy settings. Just a semitone up, semitone down. So let's look at the virtual capo. Now this is the easiest way to kind of like change the tuning on your guitar. As I've showed you guys, you can kind of use the hold feature to do some really cool things, but the virtual capo right here, that's just the easiest way. So you just hit it, and right now I'm down. So now I'm just gonna be down a step. So if I just, again, play a G chord here. Here's my original pitch. You know, pretty cool stuff. And obviously that's just down. You can set it down as much as you want. So again, if you want like a baritone on or off, hit the virtual capo. You know, pretty cool. Awesome stuff. And you know, it works fully with chords, everything. You know, let's go up a bit. So let's venture into a semitone up. So here's our regular signal. Again, I'll just play a G chord. And again, there's zero lag. It's just crazy. And I'm, again, as I mentioned, using the Bluetooth. So it just works really, really well. So if you wanted to, you know, whatever, let's just go up like 3 semitones. I'll play a D chord here. This is regular pitch. So, I mean, so versatile. So that's just kind of scratching the surface on a few things you can do with the Virtual Jeff. And the ability just to grab it, slide it out of its mount and use it on something else is a really cool feature too. Now, pros, let's talk about what's good about this thing. Number one, it's a really good whammy. Like, it's fun to play. And the beautiful part, as I've mentioned numerous times, is your guitar just stays the way it is. So it's gonna hold tune forever because no strings are moving, but you can just like whammy the crap out of it and just have a blast. So, you know, the whammy action feels good on the unit itself. As I mentioned, it's all aluminum and it is adjustable. So, you know, you can get it just the way you like it in terms of like how the arm swings and stuff. There's adjustments on it and stuff. So they've really thought that through from like a guitar player's perspective. So the whammy's fun, it's instantaneous, there's no lag. So from that aspect, it's like a huge win. It's just so fun. And I never thought I'd be able to do that on like a T-style guitar. So that's a win for sure. The unit itself is a little bulky, as you guys have seen. So that could be, you know, a possible minus for somebody who's like, yeah, I don't know, just really particular about the way things look. It is sort of like a thicker type unit. And of course, when you're not using it, the mount is on the guitar. Now, I asked the guys like, well, how easy does the mount come off and all that kind of stuff. So they put up some videos showing, you know, how to, you know, assemble it, deassemble it, all that kind of stuff, clean it up. So yeah, they're 100% confident that you can remove this mount and your guitar will be exactly the same. So that is a plus. But, you know, when it's not on, you do have the bracket on. So bear that in mind. But in terms of how it functions and, you know, the integration with the foot switch is beautiful. Like, they've really thought this through. It's really easy to save, you know, your A bank, your B bank, you know, up a little bit, down huge amounts, all the blending features. So the integration between the whammy unit and the pedal, really well thought through. So there you guys go. That's my final thoughts. Really cool. I'll link to it in the video description below. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to do so. We got lots of great content coming up for you guys. Other than that, have yourself a great week.